Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for your time.
Pleasure.
I hijacked it a little bit.
No, you
Thank
didn't
you.
hijack it. Right, you're waiting.
Okay. Guys, can we have just a little bit of silence, please? You see? Okay, so I'm guessing the biggest part of my audience will know you as from Game of Thrones. So let's completely ignore that part of your career for a minute, and please introduce yourself to my audience as if Game of Thrones didn't exist. So who are you and what do you do?
I'm RALEIGH RITCHIE, and I sing songs and write songs and just started producing songs as well.
Okay, so your real name is Jacob Anderson. Where does the moniker RALEIGH RITCHIE come from?
It comes from, I'm like a movie nerd, and the film comes from the Royal Tenenbaums, which is like one of my favourite films of all time.
Okay.
And it's a amalgamation of two names in the film. There's Raleigh St. Clair and Richie Tenenbaum, and those two characters were like, I felt like I could really identify with them, or at least what their characters are going through in the film, so I kind of interpolated them together.
Okay. So, in what realm do you find yourself musically, and with what type of music did you grow up?
I grew up listening to all sorts. My dad was really into like roots and dub and like Jamaican music, but then also he's into like the Smiths and the Cure and the Clash, and like he introduced me to quite a eclectic mix. My mom's really into dance music, but then she's into like Erykah Badu. So I feel like my style of music is kind of like their taste in music.
Okay.
And my taste in music, it's like lots of different things that I like, that I kind of smash together and try and make something new out of that. So I tend to call myself pop because pop doesn't feel tribal. It feels like it could sort of be from anywhere.
Yeah, many things.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. I would also put you in that realm. If I listen to the album and the tracks, it's very broad, and there's many influences indeed. So you released 2 EPs, but You're a Man Now Boy is your full-on debut album. And I noticed during my research it has been doing quite well in the UK. How would you describe your debut album to me?
I would describe my debut album as kind of like, it's about a very specific sort of period of my life where a lot of things changed, and I still had sort of hangovers from like things that I was struggling with, and I met my girlfriend and she like changed my life in quite a significant way. And I was going through when I was going through a really hard time. So it's kind of about that, and it's about like sort of meeting my friends again, like for the first time, and sort of
coming age.
Yeah, it is. It's like, it feels like it's like a coming of age album, but there's lots of stuff in it that's kind of like thrown around, which is how I felt at the time. It's like, I think at first I was really concentrated on like, I want to make an album that's really consistent and it like everything feels exactly the same. And then I found that actually that's not the way that people are. Like, I feel different on different days. So the album feels different at different points. So it's quite a mishmash, but I'm proud of it because I feel like that's where my head was at.
Yeah, and I've been reading a lot of good responses, and Lily Allen covered one of your tracks.
Yeah, she did.
So, I mean, you obviously did a good job for a debut album. So.
I think I made the album that I had to make at that point, you know? Like, I feel like it couldn't have been anything else. I'm really proud of what it became. And it was just it's like a big learning experience to work on it.
Because there's many tracks as well.
Yeah, well, it's weird because there's 18 tracks on the deluxe, but actually it's only 12. Like the actual album is. Yeah, so the actual album's only 12 songs, but there are like 6 bonus tracks on it.
I went with the deluxe thing.
Yeah.
So There's a certain lyric that I've found in your music. My mind is a riddle, typical Gemini. Star signs are my excuse to hide this side self of abuse. Is that correct?
To hide this type of self-abuse.
To hide this side. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I just wrote it down when I heard it. But it's a lyric that caught my attention nonetheless. Are you into astrology?
No, I'm not. But I'm interested in. I'm interested in it, but I'm not I don't know a lot about it. I think that lyric is about I definitely think of myself as like a typical Gemini. I have sort of like two sides. I've got a tattoo on my arm that when I was a kid, this is what I thought my insides looked like. I thought I had like a bad side and a good side.
We all do.
Yeah. So I think with that lyric, it's just I think I use that as an excuse sometimes. I give myself a really hard time, and I'm like, oh yeah, but I'm a Gemini, so of course I have a dark side and a light side, rather than just saying, well, no, I'm a person, and people have different sides. That's everybody. Everybody's a Gemini, you know?
Yes and no, but I understand what you're trying to say.
To some extent, any stuff like that.
What track of your Man Up or the debut album do you consider your best, or are you most happy about?
That's really hard. I mean, I think the song "You're a Man Now, Boy" I'm really proud of, because when I wrote it, I just kind of zoned out, and I didn't zone out. I zoned into something really that I felt really encapsulated the last few years of my life, the last maybe 10 years of my life, and that, I don't know. It's the way that I write songs is if I'm struggling with something or I have questions that I want to ask myself, I'll put them into a song, and then hopefully the question's answered at the end of it. And that song is a song that I felt like I achieved that. I felt like I got a real sense of closure in that song.
Okay.
So I'm proud of it from that point of view. And musically, I'm really proud of it as well. But it felt like it did me a lot of good to write that song.
Okay. Your debut has a Stormzy feature on it. Is there anyone you would secretly love to work with musically, whether it's an artist or a producer or?
Yeah, there's lots of artists that I would like to work with. There was a song that I really wanted Lily Allen to be on. I didn't actually ask her in the end because the song wasn't quite right for the album, but I really wanted Lily Allen on it. There's a few people on this new album that
so
I want to get. So there's a new
album coming? Or?
Yeah. I'm deep in the trenches of.
And is that track, The River? Is that a preview of that, or is that part of this campaign, or?
No, so the River is The River is something that me and Chris Loco worked on.
I really like that track.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's something different in just the flow of it that is different than the other tracks that I've heard so far.
Well, it's probably in the direction of things, but then there's lots of stuff on this new album that doesn't sound anything like that or anything like before.
Yeah.
I wrote an EP last year that I put out in December, which Straight Jacket's on.
Yeah.
And I feel like that album is quite a good example of of a transition into this album.
Yeah.
From You're a Man Now, Boy. This album doesn't sound like You're a Man Now, Boy.
Okay.
Kind of at all.
I'm really
which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, because my personal favorites, I wrote them down. They're Straight Jacket, I really like Stronger Than Ever, The River, and then Lonely Summer. Let's talk about that, because this track is part of the Nepapiri campaign, and that's why we're here. So maybe explain what attracted you to do this in the first place. Why did you sign up for this, and why Lonely Summer? Why do summers always need to be sad and lonely when an artist writes about summer? Why can it not be Stevie Wonderish and happy? But let's start with the campaign.
So the thing that interested me about this campaign was that it was a challenge, and I like a challenge. And I felt like
a challenge. How?
I think it's repurposing a piece of music that I was familiar with, and
the Vivaldi thing.
The Vivaldi's Four Seasons, and finding a way to apply that to my own life, and also to adapt that lyrically is a really
not easy
thing. Yeah, and I think specifically with Summer, the piece of music Summer, it's there's a lot of movement in it, which doesn't allow for a lot of movement vocally and lyrically. So it was like a challenge to find out what to use from it and where to take that. And the reason that I didn't write a happy summer song was because that's not my experience. Like I listened to the music and I thought that actually spring is what I would equate to as like a traditional sort of summer piece of music. And Vivaldi's Summer is quite dark and there's something quite foreboding about it. And that to me was really familiar. That's like when I was between the ages of like 16 and 18, that like really formative period where people start to go away to like Ibiza and Magaluf and all that kind of stuff. I was not a part of that because I never felt comfortable in myself. Like I feel like so many summer songs are like all about like sex and bodies and like debauchery and that's not my experience. Like I didn't, you know, I felt really uncomfortable in my own skin and in my own body. So like I've only worn shorts, for instance, in the last 5 or 6 years, and so I wanted to write about that because I know there's probably other people that had that experience.
Oh, there's so many of us who hate summer.
Yeah, and so, but listening to Vivaldi's Summer, all of those dark feelings started to kind of come back into my head, and I was like, that's what I want to write about. That's the kind of summer that I want to write about. I really
liked it because I resonated with it lyrically because I'm not really such a fan of summer either for different reasons.
I love summer now, but at the time it was like it felt like a lonely experience because all of my the people that I knew and all my friends were off.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Enjoying it in a completely different way than I knew how to. So that was.
And so that is basically the main thing that caught your attention to like be a part of this 4-season campaign then?
Yeah, I mean initially no, but like when I started to listen to it, like initially it was just like I say the challenge of it I found really exciting, and then also I just think like it was an opportunity for me to actually make something completely by myself, which I hadn't done before. I normally work with like great producers, like Chris Loco, who I did The River with. I work with him a lot. He's working on this next album a lot. And there's something really great about that experience of sitting with somebody else and like sharing this story and then telling it together. But with this, I produced this myself and I wrote it myself. So I'm like, it was something different. I'd never done anything like this before.
Awesome. So I see they're raving from all sides to start the interview. So I'm gonna ask you one final question, and it has to be something meaningful. So I cannot end this badly. 2 things. It's like a personal interest of me, so I have to ask this. I've seen some directorial work, and your music videos are mostly very storytelling based. Is that something you would like to do more of in the future? And what type of movie would you love to direct? That's a lot of questions in one.
No, I love this interview. That's something that I've wanted to do since I was like 14 years old. It's just something that I haven't got the confidence to do yet. I've just started to get the confidence in like I directed my last video, and I did another project where I directed a short.
I've seen that, and that was really cute.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really cute. It was really honest. It was honest emotions, and I know what project you're referring to. Like, it was really nicely done. I really appreciated it. And then the music videos, you also, I imagine that those are your treatments then, or? Yeah,
mostly. So I basically write a treatment for pretty much every song that I write.
Yeah.
But with a lot of the videos, it's just a case of like I'll write either like a list of keywords, or I'll just send in the actual treatment and then work with directors on turning it into a thing. But I kind of don't want to do that anymore. Like I want to do it myself now. Like,
I think if you have spent all these hours on set of this series that everybody knows, you probably pick one thing or two, like you know, you can definitely put that in your own realm, basically.
Yeah.
That experience.
But I want to, like, that's the, like, I want to...
What type of movie would you love to direct?
Well, there's lots of different stories that I want to tell. I've got lots of ideas.
I've seen that in that other short thing. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really into like genre films that aren't like, kind of like when you use, it's like speculative fiction and like sci-fi when you use
like Black
like
Mirror
an
type
outline,
of thing?
sort of, yeah. And I've just been watching Handmaid's Tale.
Totally see them as something like Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Something more contemporary.
Yeah, I love the idea of using something as a metaphor for something else. But I think stylistically, the kind of films that I make will be kind of like my music in that like it will be the things that I love from other things put
Mashed
into a new thing.
Okay.
So that's my plan.
Okay, then very final question. Why is it? Yeah, okay. Final question. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna drop all the obvious questions, so I cannot ask you any Game of Thrones question, which is really a bummer, but I'm gonna get over it. So
I can't tell you anything anyway.
I know.
I'm like under lock and key.
No, I was like, I had stupid questions like, can you describe me a normal day at work on Game of Thrones, or do you already know what your very last scene is? But let's skip all that and let's just go.
They're questions I can't answer anyway.
Okay. Maybe you can answer this last question, this second to last question. What did you think of that Ed Sheeran cameo? And you have to be
You can't
honest.
ask me that question.
You have to say something about the Ed Sheeran thing.
Okay, I'll say this. I think that the backlash was hugely unnecessary. I thought that people
There was really a backlash?
I think there was like on Twitter and stuff, and I thought it was unnecessary. Yeah, I don't think you ever need to like. One of the problems with like social media now is that people go too far because everyone has the opportunity to spread their opinion.
Yeah.
So I will say that I thought that was really. I thought it was just a bit unfair. It was fun.
It was fun. It was like, yes, well, but wouldn't McGregor, somebody like McGregor, be like an excellent Game of Thrones? Like
McGregor?
Yeah.
What? You and McGregor?
No, the one from the MMA.
Oh, Conor McGregor.
Yeah, wouldn't he be excellent? Game of Thrones.
I mean, the way that I think about anything really, like no matter what you're making, is like the right person for the right thing is always the way to go. If there was a part that was like amazing and perfect for Conor McGregor, then they should cast him. If not, then not. Like, but no, I don't make those decisions.
No, I understand. Okay, and then this is really my final question, and this is the only gimmick question I ask. So I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I do have to sound check.
Okay.
Otherwise I stand on stage.
Okay. Well, thanks anyway.
No, thank you. And genuinely, that was an awesome interview, and I really enjoyed those questions. So I'm glad that we did this. Thank you.
Okay.
But the sun is in my eyes today. Summer's like a big parade. Anyway, it's gonna be a lonely summer for me. It's gonna be a lonely summer for me. 'Cause I don't know how to be happy.